scarred landscape, carved by wheel rut, hoof, footfall and the rilling ever-present water. Over millennia becoming desire lines, holloways, salt track and corpse road. Time bends and rhymes in these places and is as non-linear as its trackways. There is nothing plain about the Cheshire Plain. Amongst its lanes, herds and knuckled woods lie prehistoric haunted mounds, sacred waters and monuments to humanity's yearning to communicate with the numinous. Rising from the landscape, Lovell's behemoth, Jodal Bank. Conceived and built in the 1940s, its post-war titanium white bones casting a weird, discordant melancholy over the landscape. A monument to our lostness, perhaps, or a signifier pointing to the technological event horizon that's approaching, like something from the typewriter of Nigel Neal, simultaneously reassuring yet unsettling. A melancholic radio-static hiss of the past, present and future. An almost imperceptible disturbance in the grave clay. An atmospheric disquiet. Maybe due to its flatness. A well-established psychotrope, but the monotony of its flat topography is relieved at its northern perimeter, known as the Edge. Just 13 miles south from the centre of Manchester, Alderley Edge, a mineral-rich sandstone escarpment, the southern termination of the Pennines, or, looking north, the end of the flatlands. An in-between place, a liminal, nodal point on the landscape, a place of high and old magic, of above and the below, and at the edge of things. Like most places, it can brag of its UFOs, earth lights, spectral beings, and fairy encounters, but it feels more than that. Until relatively recently, forgotten, beneath the root-fasted rock like larval galleries are miles of tunnel, seams worked by the early Bronze Age ancestors, digging for azurite and peacock copper ore, to be magically and alchemically turned into objects by the tribal magus or wizard. Roman shrines to Jupiter have been discovered in these black subterranean arcades. Coins still present on the altar, and bars of gold as if left there yesterday. The magus of the mound builders lives on in legend, transformed in the early medieval period, becoming Merlin, buying a milk-white steed from a local farmer for Arthur's knights who lie slumbering under the hill, awaiting the sounding horn for the last battle of the earth. Although boasting 3 ancient wells, the archetypal magician's name is given to the most renowned spot on the edge, the Wizard's or Merlin's well, the face carved into the rock and an inscription, "To take thy fill by the Wizard's will," carved by the stonemason and great-grandfather of Alderley Edge's most heralded son, the writer and archaeologist Alan Garner. This place pulses with magic. You can feel it, almost taste it like coal smoke on the breeze, and in its bowels some unknowable deep time relic atmosphere, a buried menace or devil's grave. Vestigial links with ritual magic pervade the whole area, from the venerable oaks which form a good portion of the tree canopy to the so-called Druid Circle and the Golden Stone, an unusual prone boulder, curiously shaped, suggestions of some sort of speaking stone or pulpit. And during the 1960s and 70s, the Edge became something of a pilgrimage for occult activity. The offshoot of the Gardnerian Wicca movement used this landscape, headed by self-appointed King of the Witches, known to his acolytes as Verbius, the well-known high priest, and book thief Alex Sanders held coven rituals during moon phases and Sabbats until his desire for headlines drew too much attention. Since this time, Occultists of every stripe have been drawn to the place, with activity both above and below ground in its many caves. And each year during All Hallows, the place comes alive, attracting new age cosplayers, covens and Thunderbird-soaked teens, looking for thrills and lighting fires, none of which feels coincidental. At the back of the edge, a Bronze Age burial mound, appropriated in the Tudor period as an armada beacon, which when ablaze, its flame could be seen as far distant as Liverpool and the North Welsh coast. Beacon fire or not, the uncanny atmosphere of the place, vortex-like, draws many with its magical gravity, those who, knowingly or not, perceive the edges and wrinkles in the gauze of reality. It seems ironic that as we look out there to the cosmos with billion-dollar telescopes in hope of discovery of some cosmic armada beacon, the discovery is under our feet in our relationship to these landscapes as we fleetingly move through them in our short tenancy, adding to the palimpsest of stories, strata and mythology, only to be unearthed in a distant, far-off era.